Hi guys, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and oh so very, very good, possibly the best episode yet of It, Welcome to Derry. It dropped its newest episode earlier tonight on HBO Max. I just finished watching it not too long ago. Boy oh boy, did I enjoy it. You know, it feels like it's the pieces are falling into place, like so much information is being filled and questions are being answered. It really makes you appreciate and enjoy the first two films, It and It Chapter 2, all the more. At least that's what the show is doing for me, because it's like, oh, that's why this is the way that is. You know what I mean? So before I get into all of that, of course, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you're not caught up on It, Welcome to Derry, you don't want to keep watching or listening to this video, as I will be discussing big spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. It's so great. It was so satisfying and fascinating to get the juicy backstory of the indigenous people who lived in this area before Derry was ever established as a town, and what their history has been with Pennywise, or Galul as they call him. And this episode answered a big question why Pennywise thankfully can't venture beyond the limits or the borders of Derry, and it's because, you know, the native people back in the day basically created a perimeter or an invisible fence around what would become where the town, most of the town is. And thanks to using the shards of the meteorite that Pennywise crashed to Earth in, which we already knew, by the way, this was all revealed in It Chapter 2. What we didn't know is that those shards from that meteorite could possibly harm or injure, maybe even kill Pennywise. Well, we don't know if they can kill him, but it definitely can hurt him or keep him at bay. So they figured that out, you know, after many people had died, of course. And it's because of them, Pennywise remains confined within the borders of Derry and didn't expand and spread out beyond into the rest of Maine or the continental United States, for that matter. You know, he didn't overrun the country or nothing like that. So thankfully he's stuck in Derry, Maine, and this episode did a wonderful job explaining and showing that to us. I also loved how Mrs. Hanlon isn't some 1960s domestic housewife, but she's also a total badass with being a civil rights worker who's not afraid to stand up to racism and police corruption, especially in a town like Derry, and how she used some of her cards to threaten that one cop with seeing the suspected murderer, Hank, I think his name is, or Grogan, Hank Grogan, yeah. And I love how she played the civil rights card, threatening him with a chorus of civil rights workers and possibly MLK Jr. and JFK both coming to Derry if he didn't do what she wanted. So that was real satisfying to watch, and that was a great moment for her character. It made me like and respect her even more. I already liked her already, you know, because she's obviously a good person and she loves her family. But the fact that, you know, she's still sticking to the man, so to speak, is pretty satisfying to watch. So I liked that. And then the other, you know, this episode was great because we spent more time with the kids and blessed our hearts trying to get Ronnie's dad out of jail. Even though they did technically catch a photo of Pennywise, it seems like it just wasn't enough to convince the cops, of course. You know, and to a rational, reasonable person, that would be an outrageous story anyway. Some killer clown appeared in the cemetery that you summoned. I mean, come on. So that was a worthwhile effort, but it just unfortunately didn't work. I gotta give props to Pennywise here, or credit perhaps, because he prevented a very sad, very public humiliation, but at the expense of poor Marge. I think that's her name. The girl who had the disgusting double eyes squirting out of her face after that nature film they were watching, which obviously grossed and freaked her out, hence why Pennywise did it. And oh God, what a gnarly way to deal with it, with that electric saw thing in the shop class. Ooh, that was ouch. And then, of course, it makes her friend look like a murderous psycho because she's like hovering over her with a blade trowel in hand and whatnot. All the kids come in and see her like that. Doesn't look too good. But what I was going to say is that it was obviously a cruel prank that she was going to play on her friend. And it seems like she was almost going to prevent it until Pennywise interfered and started making her hallucinate about her eyes. So hats off to Pennywise for sparing that girl from a public and embarrassing ordeal. I mean, I'm sorry the other girl lost an eye, or I think lost an eye in this debacle, but hey, at least he prevented public humiliation. I don't know if that justifies it or not, but we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, great episode. I'm glad we got to spend so much time with so many great characters, and we just get to see how they all continually be impacted. Their lives are impacted by the presence and existence of Pennywise, how it affects them individually, and how it's also subsequently kind of bringing them together, whether they realize it or not. So that's all the more exciting because I feel like an adult-child collaboration is going to happen sooner or later, where one of, if not some of the adults begin to at least believe some of the kids about what's going on, especially with Hanlon after his experience with his son in the river, and then him seeing the red balloon in the tree outside his own house, storming into the general's office saying, "What the hell are we looking for? What are we doing?" You know, it feels like the adults are finally starting to come around to what the hell's going on in Derry and how bad and messed up things really are in this town. So, solid episode. Really, really enjoyed it. I especially love the backstory with the indigenous people dealing with fighting off and containing Pennywise all those years ago, and how they continue to watch over it to this very day. So that was a pretty cool revelation, I thought. All right, guys, what did you think of this latest episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down below in the comment section. Please keep it civil and respectful. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Welcome to Derry continues to drop new episodes every Sunday on HBO Max. We're already halfway through the first season, guys. Only 4 more episodes to go. Can you believe it? Shocker, I know. All right, have a good rest of your night and weekend, guys. And of course, until next time, what's your favorite scary movie?